The correct answer is C. They are more carefully put together than they appear. And what about artists such as Mondrian, whose paintings consist exclusively of horizontal and vertical lines encasing blocks of color? Mondrian's works are deceptively simple, but eye-tracking studies confirm that they are meticulously composed, and that simply rotating a piece radically changes the way we view it. With the originals, volunteers' eyes tended to stay longer on certain places in the image, but with the altered versions they would flit across a piece more rapidly. As a result, the volunteers considered the altered versions less pleasurable when they later rated the work. What do the experiments described in the fifth paragraph suggest about the paintings of Mondrian? A. They can be interpreted in a number of different ways. B. They challenge our assumptions about shape and color. C. They are more carefully put together than they appear. D. They are easier to appreciate than many other abstract works. The correct answer is C. They are more carefully put together than they appear.
C. They are more carefully put together than they appear.
Explanation of results.
The experiments described in the fifth paragraph suggest that the paintings of Mondrian are more carefully put together than they appear. This conclusion is supported by the findings that even small alterations, such as rotating the piece, significantly affect how viewers engage with the artwork. The fact that volunteers' eyes tended to linger longer on certain areas of the original paintings, compared to altered versions, indicates a deliberate composition by Mondrian. This meticulous arrangement of horizontal and vertical lines, encasing blocks of color, demonstrates a level of thoughtfulness and precision in Mondrian's artistic process, suggesting that his works are not just simple arrangements of shapes and colors, but rather carefully crafted compositions that evoke specific viewer responses. Therefore, option C, they are more carefully put together than they appear, is the most appropriate interpretation based on the experiments described.
Summary.
Eye-tracking studies on Mondrian's paintings, known for their horizontal and vertical lines and blocks of color, reveal that despite their apparent simplicity, they are intricately composed. The studies showed that altering the orientation of these paintings affects the viewer's gaze and enjoyment. In the original works, viewers' eyes linger on specific areas, but in rotated versions, the gaze moves quickly, leading to a less pleasurable experience when rating the art. This suggests that Mondrian's artistic arrangement is deliberate and critical to the viewer's experience.
Based on this example content, here are some keywords and their meanings.
1. Mondrian refers to the Dutch artist Piet Mondrian, known for his abstract paintings characterized by horizontal and vertical lines enclosing blocks of color. 2. Abstract art. Artistic style that does not attempt to represent an accurate depiction of visual reality, but instead uses shapes, colors, forms, and gestural marks to achieve its effect. 3. Horizontal lines. Lines that are parallel to the horizon, suggesting stability, calmness, or rest. 4. Vertical lines. Lines that are perpendicular to the horizon, often associated with strength, power, and stability. 5. Blocks of color. Solid areas of color within a composition, often used to create contrast, balance, or visual interest. 6. Deceptive simplicity. Appearance of being simple or uncomplicated, but upon closer inspection revealing layers of complexity or depth. 7. Eye-tracking studies. Research method that involves recording the movement of an individual's eyes as they view visual stimuli, used to understand attention, perception, and cognitive processes. 8. Meticulously composed. Carefully and precisely arranged or organized, suggesting attention to detail and deliberate artistic decisions. 9. Rotation. Act of turning or changing the orientation of an object, in this context, referring to rotating a piece of artwork to alter its perspective or viewing experience. 10. Viewer response. Reactions, emotions, or interpretations elicited from individuals when they engage with a work of art. Linger, to remain in a place longer than usual, in this context, describing how viewers' eyes stayed on certain areas of the original paintings. 12. Flit, to move quickly or abruptly from one place to another, here describing the rapid movement of viewers' eyes across altered versions of Mondrian's paintings. 13. Pleasurable, providing satisfaction, enjoyment, or positive emotional experiences. 14. Artistic interpretation, personal understanding or meaning derived from experiencing a work of art, influenced by individual perceptions, beliefs, and experiences. 15. Composition, arrangement or organization of elements within a work of art, including shapes, colors, lines, and textures. 16. Visual perception, process of interpreting and making sense of visual information received through the eyes, influenced by cognitive processes and prior experiences. 17. Contrast, the difference between elements in a composition, such as light and dark values, colors, or textures used to create visual interest and depth. 18. Balance, equilibrium or stability in a composition achieved through the distribution of visual weight, elements, or principles. 19. Depth, illusion of three-dimensional space on a two-dimensional surface, often created through perspective, overlapping forms, and shading. 20. Aesthetic experience, emotional or sensory response evoked by experiencing art, encompassing feelings of beauty, appreciation, or contemplation.
Here are 20 sentences incorporating the term abstract art. I've always found abstract art to be open to interpretation. The gallery's new exhibit features abstract art from emerging artists. Her living room is decorated with bold pieces of abstract art. Abstract art doesn't have to represent anything specific. Many people find abstract art challenging to understand. The colors and shapes in abstract art can evoke different emotions. He prefers abstract art because it allows for personal expression. Abstract art often breaks away from traditional artistic techniques. Some abstract art pieces are valued at millions of dollars. The museum offers workshops on creating your own abstract art. Abstract art can be a reflection of the artist's inner world. Critics argue about the meaning behind many abstract artworks. Abstract art has evolved significantly since the early 20th century. She wrote her thesis on the influence of music on abstract art. Abstract art is not limited to paintings, it includes sculptures too. The vibrant abstract art piece became the focal point of the room. Abstract art can be made using a variety of mediums and materials. Some abstract art is inspired by nature despite its non-representational form. He's an abstract artist who's known for his dynamic use of color. Abstract art exhibitions often attract a diverse audience. These sentences can be used in various contexts to discuss or describe abstract art in everyday conversations. Here are 20 sentences using horizontal lines. The horizontal lines on the graph indicate periods of stability. She painted horizontal lines across the canvas to evoke a sense of calm. The architect used horizontal lines to give the building a broader appearance. Horizontal lines in clothing can make a person appear wider. The horizontal lines on the road signal to drivers that they should not park there. In web design, horizontal lines are often used to separate content. The horizontal lines on the paper helped me write in a straight line. The sunset created beautiful horizontal lines of color in the sky. Horizontal lines in art can lead the viewer's eye across the piece. The horizontal lines on the barcode were scanned at the checkout. He noticed the horizontal lines on her forehead when she frowned. The horizontal lines of the ladder were evenly spaced. The horizontal lines on the spreadsheet helped organize the data. The horizontal lines of the fence provided privacy for the backyard. The horizontal lines on the sweater were a bold fashion statement. The horizontal lines on the ultrasound image indicated different tissue layers. The horizontal lines of text in the book were perfectly aligned. The horizontal lines on the monitor screen were a sign of technical issues. The horizontal lines of the flag represent unity and solidarity. The horizontal lines drawn by the children on the wall had to be repainted. These sentences can be used in everyday conversations to describe or refer to horizontal lines in various contexts. Here are 20 sentences using vertical lines. The vertical lines on the skirt created a slimming effect. He drew vertical lines on the wall to mark where the shelves would go. The vertical lines of the skyscrapers stood out against the horizon. Vertical lines are often used in charts to represent data points. The vertical lines on the dress made her look taller. In typography, vertical lines can be used to create visual interest. The vertical lines in the garden were made by a row of tall trees. The vertical lines on the measuring cup indicate different volumes. The vertical lines of the window blinds cast shadows on the floor. The vertical lines on the music sheet represent the different pitches. The vertical lines on the barcode label contain product information. The vertical lines on the road sign indicate that it's a no-passing zone. The vertical lines of the bridge's cables added to its aesthetic appeal. The vertical lines on the thermometer showed the temperature rising. The vertical lines on the fabric gave it a textured look. The vertical lines of the grid helped him align the graphic elements. The vertical lines on the paper helped guide my writing. The vertical lines of the waterfall were a breathtaking sight. The vertical lines on the graph show the trend over time. The vertical lines on the jail uniform are easily recognizable. These sentences can be used in various contexts to describe or refer to vertical lines in daily conversations. Here are 20 sentences using blocks of color. The artist's canvas was a vibrant mosaic of blocks of color. The quilt was made up of blocks of color, each telling a different story. The blocks of color on the screen indicated different temperature zones. She arranged the blocks of color in her design to create a gradient effect. The blocks of color in the children's book helped capture their attention. His tie had blocks of color that matched his playful personality. The blocks of color on the app interface made it user-friendly. The blocks of color in the painting created a sense of depth. The blocks of color on the dress gave it a modern, geometric look. The blocks of color on the wall were part of an interactive art installation. The blocks of color in the infographic made the information easy to digest. The blocks of color on the rug brought warmth to the room. The blocks of color on the spreadsheet represented different data sets. The blocks of color in the garden were carefully planned flower beds. The blocks of color on the map indicated various political regions. The blocks of color on the pie chart showed the market share of each company. The blocks of color in the advertisement caught the eye of passers-by. The blocks of color on the website helped differentiate sections. The blocks of color on the bird's feathers were mesmerizing. The blocks of color on the mural told the history of the neighborhood. These sentences can be used in everyday conversations to describe or refer to blocks of color in various contexts.
Thank you for watching. This is a VTP channel. You can find us at youtube.com/VTP.
Here are 20 sentences that illustrate the concept of deceptive simplicity. The game's rules have a deceptive simplicity. It's easy to learn but hard to master. Her answer had a deceptive simplicity, masking the complexity of the issue. The poem's deceptive simplicity belies its deep philosophical undertones. At first glance, the painting offers deceptive simplicity, yet it's rich in symbolism. The device's design is characterized by deceptive simplicity, making it incredibly user-friendly. The chef's recipe for soup has a deceptive simplicity that results in a rich flavor. The deceptive simplicity of the app's interface hides its powerful features. His writing style has a deceptive simplicity that conveys complex ideas effortlessly. The deceptive simplicity of the melody makes the song memorable. The deceptive simplicity of the math problem fooled many students. The deceptive simplicity of the sculpture's lines draws you into a deeper contemplation. The deceptive simplicity of her dress contrasted with the intricate hand-stitched details. The deceptive simplicity of the building's facade conceals its innovative engineering. The deceptive simplicity of the software's layout masks its advanced algorithms. The deceptive simplicity of the garden design actually requires meticulous maintenance. The deceptive simplicity of the instructions led to a variety of outcomes. The deceptive simplicity of the dance routine requires precise timing and control. The deceptive simplicity of the contract's language necessitated a thorough review. The deceptive simplicity of the riddle made it a favorite among puzzle enthusiasts. The deceptive simplicity of the tool's design belied its multifunctional capabilities. These sentences can be used in everyday conversations to describe something that appears simple but has underlying complexity.
Thank you for watching. This is a VTP channel. You can find us at youtube.com at VTP.